Hey everyone, and welcome. If you're curious about generative AI, you're definitely in the right place. We're going to really dig into this today. We're using a super interesting podcast episode transcript, Mastering Generative AI, from strategy to launch. And it's hosted by this guy, Krishna Debnath.
Yeah, and get this, the host, he actually started the podcast because his daughter got him all interested in AI. It's wild how, everyone is talking about this now, right?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's everywhere. So before we go any further, just in case anyone's wondering, what is generative AI? Imagine computer programs that can create stuff, text, pictures, music, even designs. It's almost like having a creative partner who never stops.
And the thing that's really different from regular AI is that generative AI is all about making things. Traditional AI is good at, looking at data, but generative AI actually makes new stuff based on what it's learned.
So it's not just number crunching, right?
Yeah.
It's it figures out how things work and then boom, makes something totally new. Super cool.
Yeah, and it's already changing everything. Take marketing, for example.
Yeah.
You can use generative AI to make ads that are totally personalized for each person. It's crazy how much that can boost how people respond to the ads.
And that's what gets me so excited. This isn't just some theory. It's actually changing things in the real world. It's not only marketing either. Think about product design. You can use AI to design stuff way faster, and it could change how we prototype and test things so companies can launch new stuff so much quicker than before.
It's like speeding up the whole invention process. And then there's customer service, those chatbots, right? The ones that are talking to a wall. Well, with generative AI, chatbots are getting way smarter and they sound more human because they understand what you mean, they learn, and actually give helpful answers.
So it's not just about automatic replies. It's about actually giving customers a good experience that feels personal. And that's a huge deal for businesses.
Absolutely. And all this is happening right now, Tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, and GitHub Copilot are already out there.
Yeah, and those are the tools that are letting anyone use this technology. It's not just scientists in labs anymore. You can use it right now to write better, code better, even design your dream product.
And this is just the start, Think about how these tools are going to change and what totally new stuff we'll be able to do soon. I mean, it's kind of mind-blowing, but also maybe a little scary.
For sure. It makes you think. I think the takeaway here for everyone listening is that understanding generative AI isn't a choice anymore. It's essential. It's going to shape the future of work and how we live. So we all need to wrap our heads around it. Hashtag TTS, the Deep Dive episode 2025-01-19, part 2 of 3.
Yeah, it really does. One thing that struck me about this podcast episode is that Krishna Debnath, he really wants to make generative AI simple for everyone, not just the techie people.
Right. He's you don't need to be a data scientist or anything to get it and use these tools, which is kind of what we're doing here too. We want everyone to see how cool this tech is,
Totally. And it's important because generative AI is already a big deal. It's everywhere. And the more we understand it, the better we can, deal with all these changes.
For sure. And remember, his podcast is called Mastering Generative AI, from strategy to launch. That strategy to launch part is really important. He's not just talking about the ideas. He's giving you a plan to actually use this stuff and get real results.
Yeah, that's what's so great about it. He connects the tech stuff to actually doing it in business,
Oh, absolutely. Speaking of doing it, in the transcript, he lays out what you can expect from his podcast, which is 10 episodes, by the way. He's going to cover everything. The basics of generative AI, how to find ways to use it, building strategies, making a business case for it, even the ethics of it all.
Wow, that's a lot. He's covering the whole thing from the first idea to actually using it in your business.
And he even says he's going to have experts on and share real stories, which I love when podcasts do that.
Me too. It makes it so much easier to understand when you hear real examples. Okay, here's the idea, and here's how some company is using it right now,
It's like connecting the dots.
Yeah. It's about understanding not just what it is, but how and why, right?
Definitely. And, hey, if anyone listening is feeling a little, overwhelmed by all this AI stuff, remember what Krishna said. No need to be a data scientist. This is for everyone, whether you're a product manager, a business analyst, a leader, or just curious about the future.
It's all about being open to learning and adapting, right?
Yeah.
And the tools are getting easier to use, and there's so much info out there. Anyone can learn this stuff.
He also wants people to share the podcast, with colleagues, friends, anyone who might be into it. He's trying to build like a community of people who are thinking ahead and ready to use AI in new ways.
I love that. It's so important to talk about it and work together. We got to make sure AI is used in a good way and that everyone benefits.
I'm curious, what else like really stuck with you from his intro? Anything that really jumped out?
Honestly, that story about his daughter got me thinking. It shows how AI is like part of our lives now and how it makes people curious, even kids. You got a kid asking about AI, and then the dad makes a whole podcast about it. It just shows you how this is like changing everything.
Totally. It's like a reminder to be like excited about new tech and never stop being curious. There's so much we can learn from these like AI kids.
Totally. They're growing up with it. It's just normal for them. We should listen to them.
You know what else is interesting? How Krishna talks about the different ways we can use generative AI. It's not about like replacing human creativity. It's more like making it even better.
Yeah. It's not us versus the machines. It's like us with the machines, right? We can work together.
Yeah.
It's like having a brainstorming buddy who can come up with tons of ideas super fast. Imagine what we can do when we combine like human intuition with AI's power.
Exactly. It's like finding that balance where humans and AI work best together. And it's already happening in so many fields. Like in music, AI can write melodies,
Yeah.
and make totally new sounds, even whole albums. But it's still the musician, the human, who brings the emotion, the soul to it.
That's what makes it real, right? Like it's the human touch that makes AI stuff actually move you.
And it's not just about making new things. Generative AI can also, like, help us understand art that's already out there in new ways. Like, people are using AI to study, like, famous paintings, finding patterns and stuff that maybe we missed.
That's so cool. Like an AI art historian, huh?
Exactly. And it's not just paintings either. It's like literature, poetry, even old texts.
Yeah.
AI can help us find hidden meanings.
Whoa, it's like a whole new level of understanding art.
And for anyone who likes making things, generative AI is like a huge toolbox. You can try different writing styles, music genres, you know, even design prototypes, all with AI helping you.
It's like a playground for creative people. You can try anything, push your limits, and you don't have to be afraid to mess up.
Exactly. That's the best part. Generative AI can help us get past creative blocks,
Yeah.
spark new ideas, and just like be better and more expressive in our work.
It's about giving us tools, not replacing us. It's like helping us make our ideas even better.
It's crazy how far this has come in such a short time, and we're just getting started. Hashtag TTS, the deep dive episode 2025-01-19, part 3 of 3. It really is amazing, right? Like, where could this all go?
Yeah, it's pretty wild to think about. So in this deep dive, we've covered a lot.
We have what generative AI is and how it's different from like the regular AI and all the cool examples of how it's used in marketing and making products and even customer service.
Yeah, yeah. And then it's important to like have a plan for actually using these AI tools, if you're a business.
Definitely. And those like super powerful tools, ChatGPT, Gemini, GitHub Copilot, all that. They're making it so anyone can use AI now.
It's clear that generative AI is like a game changer. We all need to pay attention to this.
So to wrap things up, let's leave our listeners with something to think about. If generative AI is already doing so much in, like marketing and product design and customer service, what other industries could it like totally change?
That's the question, isn't it? Like, what about your field? Could generative AI solve problems there or, open up new possibilities?
It's like a challenge to think differently and imagine how this tech is going to like change how we work and just live our lives in the future.
Yeah, the future of AI is happening right now, and we're all part of making it happen.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of generative AI, everyone. Hopefully you've learned something new about this amazing technology and like how much it can do.
And remember, this is only the beginning. Stay curious, keep learning, and you never know, maybe you'll be the one to discover the next big thing in generative AI.